everyone. Welcome to China Daily Q&A with CEO. I'm Cai Xiao. Today we have Mr. Weiwen, China President of Bain Co with us. Mr. Han will share his views on the founder's mentality as well as the business development of Bain in China. Hello, Mr. Han. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You've launched a new book on the founder's mentality. So what do you think of it?
So Bain has done over 10 years of research on this topic. We have 100 companies that we have worked closely with across 40 different countries. These companies include small companies, just starting up, including mid-sized companies facing growth opportunities and challenges. And it includes large companies who have gone through cycles of development. What we found is that there are three predictable crises that many of these companies face. The first one is that the growth of the company is too fast. The engine is running too hot, yet their talent and the system cannot keep up with that growth. Second, a lot of the company's growth has stalled over time, and they cannot find the growth drivers that will continue to drive the company's growth. And lastly, and the worst, is when companies face a free fall. So essentially their revenue started to decline dramatically, the profit declined maybe even faster, and they start to lose people. So those are the primary crises that are quite predictable from these companies. Yet at the same time, we have seen companies who are growing in challenging macro environments still at a very healthy rate, talking about double-digit growth, 20-30% growth, and that's a puzzle, right? Why these companies can continue to grow and continue to find those new drivers. So what we have researched and concluded is that the secret sauce is the founder's mentality. And what that really entails is three main elements. The first one is to have a insurgent's mission. So what are you trying to do, and what is the meaning of the existence of this company? And then the second one is the obsession with the front line. So really hearing what the frontline employees are saying, really listening to what the customers are telling us. And lastly is about owner's mindset. This is in contrast to management or agents' mindset. Really have a focus on cost, really focus on actions, and really fight the complexity of these companies. So that is a groundbreaking finding to say these are the primary sources for the continued growth and the vitality of these companies. And in this book, we also talked about if certain companies are in any of these three situations, what are the actions they could be taking based on some root causes that we can identify for companies to lose that founder's mentality.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think are the most important qualities for a technology company's founder?
I think fundamentally it is not that different from any founders or any founders in other sectors. Well, first of all, let me talk about the commonalities across industries. So if we go back to the three main elements for founders' mentality, for any company to continue with that growth, you need to have an insurgent's mission. Essentially, it is about fighting against the incumbents in that industry. And for a technology company or for a consumer company, industrial company, it's pretty much the same. So you need to understand what customers really want, and then what they cannot get from the incumbents in the market. And then you need to look inside and see what is the unique capabilities that this company has vis-a-vis your competitors. And then you really claim that war against the incumbents on behalf of underserved customers. And specifically for technology firms, Of course, one of the core capabilities you need to possess is the technology, right? So think hard about what is this unique technological capability that you have that the incumbents don't have, and think about what the customer's pain points today, even in the very developed internet world in China. There are a lot of pain points for customers that they cannot be satisfied by the incumbents like your Alibaba or JD or Tencent of the world. So really finding that unique capability that you have and finding that underserved customer group and basically have a mission to serve them better than anyone else. And secondly, on the obsession to frontline, I think in the technology sector, the feedback loop is usually much shorter than the traditional industries because you've got the technological means to hear the customer's voice on a real-time basis. So I think both the opportunity and challenge for the technology company is, what kind of mechanism that you put in place to be able to listen to your customers, to the frontline employees on a real-time basis and take actions to find them.
So what about the largest challenges for them?
I think both the opportunity and the challenge is speed.
Mm-hmm.
So in the technology world, because the technology replaces itself on a much faster rate, the customers that you serve are, in today's internet world, are still relatively younger customers, and their behavior and their preferences change all the time. So again, this is an opportunity for a startup or for somebody who have that founder's mentality to take advantage of that and beat the incumbents in the market. But at the same time, it is also hard, right? Because again, scale doesn't matter as much in this space. It's more about speed. So whether you can pick up the speed just another notch higher or faster than the incumbents is a bigger topic.
Mm-hmm. You studied many founders.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share us a story of a founder from a technology industry?
I'll share you one story. This is Jeff Bezos of Amazon, right? So there's one. So out of the three elements of founder's mentality, we talked about micro battles. Okay, so this is in contrast of big battles where you plan very well, mobilize the resources, and you take years to implement those. And what Jeff Bezos mentioned about micro battle, using his word, is the type 1 decision and type 2 decisions. So yes, in the company, there are these type 1 decisions that are irreversible. So you take a big bet, you buy a big company, you enter a big market with significant investment and very hard to pull it back. So for that kind of decisions, you still need to be very thoughtful, very systematic, and so forth. But Jeff Bezos argues that, in fact, there's very few decisions in a technology company that are type 1 decisions. Most of the decisions are type 2, meaning that you can try, and then you can make mistakes, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. So basically, he promotes the type 2 decisions and having his team members to try different ideas, to move very fast, and he still needs to have a central system to manage that whole process, but really enable the frontline to take these small bets. And if the small bets become successful and they invest more and make it more repeatable and become big driver for the future growth. If certain initiatives failed, they celebrate. Right? Instead of coming back and say, hey, why it's failed and then the people get fired. Instead, they really celebrate the failure, and the people who have made mistakes are put into more important tasks. So that's kind of the very different thinking than, let's say, in the traditional company where failure or mistakes are very much avoided in the companies.
What are the opportunities and challenges of them doing business in China?
Mm-hmm. So this year actually marks the 25th anniversary for Bain and Company in Greater China. We started in the Hong Kong office in 1991 and then opened the Beijing office in 1992. Subsequently, we also opened the Shanghai office, which is our largest office for now. Our business is very simple. Our mission, the insurgent's mission for Bain and Company is to make our clients more valuable. And then we do that by really supporting them to develop better decisions. We help them to implement these decisions. It could be operational improvement, it could be mergers and acquisition, it could be organizational developments or IT improvement. I think sitting where we are today in China, there is a lot of opportunities because the macro environment is changing, right? We are entering an era of new normal, which is basically consists of a lower growth environment and a lot of restructuring for the industries and the companies. In this environment, Bain is uniquely positioned to support these companies because a lot of these changes, the new business model, new areas of expertise, new talent that need, and the new organization they need to build is something that most Chinese companies have not experienced in the past 25, 30 years. So the global experience that we have, the advantage of having worked with companies across industries or within the same industry across different geographies can be immense value for these Chinese companies thinking about restructuring, transformation, innovation. So I think that represents a tremendous opportunity for us. The challenge we have at the same time is that we need to innovate, we need to transform as well, because a lot of the toolkits that we have, the way of doing consulting, has been developed mostly in the developed markets and mostly from 10, 20, 30 years ago. Now, in this new environment, so we need to challenge ourselves in order to innovate, in order to ignite the second, the third engine of Bain. Mm-hmm. So we need to be a much better innovative company. We need to adapt to the local demand for these Chinese companies, and we need to work very closely with our clients to co-develop the solutions that might not exist anywhere in the world or in China. So I think the next 10 years would be very exciting period for both the business environment for our clients and for Bain in China.
Mm. Could you highlight your business performance this year?
We have had tremendous growth in the past 25 years, and this year particularly is a very good year for us. We have on multiple fronts really grown our business. On the client side, we continue to build our strength in a number of sectors, and then continue to build out the capabilities in others. On the team front, we have expanded our team. Basically, we have a double-digit growth on the partner front because we're a partnership company, and then the partners are the core talents that we have. We have subsequently also expanded the team, also close to sort of double-digit growth. So it's a very exciting time. We have laid out very strong foundations, and I look forward to next 10 years of exciting growth for Bain.
So what are your business plans next year and in the near future?
So our plan is very simple. We want to accelerate the growth, but that growth is subject to the quality of our clients, quality of our services, and quality of our talent. So we will not sacrifice quality to simply get growth.
Mm-hmm. As the president of Bain China, what type of leader do you think you are, and what's an effective leadership for a foreign company doing business in a Chinese environment?
Sure. So I just took over the office head for Bain Greater China, so I'm still learning and adapting my leadership style, because in the past I was more a client leader. So I work with primarily Chinese local clients on the issues of strategy and operations and so forth. So that requires a slightly different leadership style because you need to lead from the front. You are the core of the client service team, and then you interact directly with the clients, and oftentimes these are first generation founders. And to work with the founders, it requires you are very direct, and it requires you always tell the truth, and it requires you to be able to influence the founders and the management team so that they can jump on the changes that we recommend. Being the office head to manage a office of 20 plus partners and more than 200 consultants, it requires a little bit different leadership style because we have a partnership model. So each partner is a owner of the firm, and in order to lead this group, it requires what we call the servant leader. So essentially, you need to lead from behind, and make sure that the voices are heard from the partners. Make sure that the partners and the leadership team has a common goal, common direction, and then a alignment on what are the priority actions, priority initiatives that we need to take in order to drive to that common goal. So it's very much a servant leadership model and leading from behind kind of model.
Mm-hmm. So how to inherit the founder's mentality from William Bain?
From Bill Bain. We call him Bill. So I think that's a terrific question because again, our company is a partnership model, right? So we have 600 plus partners, and all the partners are a owner of the company. So really maintain that founder's mentality is very important for a partnership company like we are. So all things that we talked about around founder's mentality apply here. So we are pushing very hard internally to really distill what are the founders' mentality for us, for Bain, and how can we continue to evolve that founders' mentality and continue to be successful. So specifically around the three key elements on the insurgent's mission, right? So we need to be very clear that Bain is only results driven, right? So our business is not about report, it's about results. So, what are the spikes of capabilities for us to be able to deliver that results to the clients? That has been developed by Bill Bain and still is very true that it's our everyday pursuit is really for the client's results. And secondly, about obsession to the front line. So as partners or even as the managing director for Greater China, all the partners, including myself, need to be very close to the clients and very close to our front line, which is the case teams. So we for partners, spend a lot of time with clients and with case teams, and that's how we keep current. So our job is not a management job sitting in the headquarters. We're actually at the front line, day in and day out, working with teams and working with clients. And lastly, really is this owner's mindset. Indeed, we have evolved. It's the 44th year for us globally, and in a way, we can call ourselves professionals. But how do we think about the business? How do we act like an owner? Has been something we really push very hard. Treat it like our own business.
So, what's the winning strategy of Bain in China?
Our winning strategy is very simple. It's about creating client success stories and creating people success stories. So every client we work with, we strive to support them, to have a winning strategy, to have a thriving organization, to have excellent operations, and to have, in today's world, a strong digital capability, so that they can also the founder's mentality, so that they can beat their competitors in a changing environment and in a competitive environments. On the people front, we care about our people, our talents, This is manifested in the whole talent development value chain, from recruiting the right people in, to really invest in the training and development, to really spend time on their personal developments and the personal agenda. And our goal is to have really the best business talent to join and stay at Bain, and really have a better career and the life for our people against our peers in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm. So what have been your significant achievements in Bain?
Me personally?
Yes.
This is only my 14th year at Bain, so it's still a long journey ahead of me. But I think I have done a few things. So first, I was responsible for recruiting for about 10 years since I joined Bain. So if you look at today's Bain organization in Greater China, as well as our alumni, I feel very proud that I was personally involved in hiring and developing this group of very talented business people. Some of them, or many of them, have left Bain and pursuing their own career, either a startup or a investment company, or in a corporation, or most recently internet company. But seeing them really succeed and thrive makes me very proud that I played a small role in their professional developments. On the client front, I was one of the first few of Bain partners started to serve Chinese local clients. We started from zero, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go back 10 years ago, we didn't really do much work with local clients, but with a couple of Chinese partners, with the support from the global partnership, we were able to penetrate into local clients. And many of them have become what we call clients for life. So we have very strong relationship, the companies are thriving, and then we have very strong personal friendship with these entrepreneurs and the senior management. And last but not least, I think I worked with the team in really innovating a lot of the things that are not existent in other parts of the world, including this founder's mentality. I was a key contributor to the book, including this whole digital capability, which in China has a different ecosystem than other markets. So